So for today's class, we're going to get into a topic called asymmetrical meter. And that is meters that have odd numbers as their top, so like 5, 7, 9. And so we're going to get into this topic with Turkish music because Turkish music uses something called aksak, which means limping or uneven beats. And many songs in Turkish music use aksak rhythms, so I thought it would be really appropriate to introduce this topic through Turkish rhythms, since Turkish music is so well suited for this type of rhythm. Then we're going to continue with our chromatic solfege. So just like in the previous weeks, we're going to continue tonicizing any key, and we're going to use modulation to closely related keys. First thing that we should know when we get into Turkish music is that there's something that I call Turkish conducting. It's really it uses these syllables dum, tek, and tek for 5/8. There's the dums and teks can be arranged in any way in any meter, but for 5/8 it's dum is 2 beats, tek is 2 beats, and then tek is 1 beat. So we have this sort of 2 plus 1 kind of grouping. And the way that we normally would reflect this in the conducting pattern is this way. Dum, tek, tek, dum, tek, tek, dum, tek, tek, dum, tek, tek. So rather than use our Western conducting patterns, I thought that for these exercises we could do something similar where we tap dum with the right hand and tap teks with the left hand. Moving into our first example, the asymmetry of the rhythm actually is kind of like combining simple meter with compound meter. So the first beat, for example, in a 5/8 measure is 2. Okay, so like simple meter. But then the second beat is 3, like compound meter. So the elements that we get combine in these types of meters, right? The elements in simple meter and the elements in compound meter, they're combined now, and they're used for different halves of the measure. So you can kind of think of it as simple plus one half measure of simple, 1/2 measure of compound meter. So so like for simple meter you could have 2/8 notes filling a beat, and for compound meter filling a beat you could have a quarter and an eighth rest. Then we have another 2 beats here, another 2/8 notes followed by a quarter and an eighth note. Then we have a dotted quarter and a 16th, and then 3 more beats, so 6 16th notes, and I sort of reflect that as 2 plus 1 there, so the beaming is not all the way across. You've got these 4 16th notes beamed and then 2 16th notes beamed. Quarter note plus a quarter and an eighth. Again, you can see how simple and compound meter interact here. 2/8 notes, quarter and an eighth rest. Let's just keep going. Quarter note, quarter, eighth note, 4 16th notes, and then a dotted quarter. Quarter note, quarter, eighth, 4 16th notes, quarter note, eighth rest. Then we go into 2/8 notes, 2/8 notes, and then 2 more 16th notes. So again, there's your compound meter element. 4 16th notes, then 4 16ths and an eighth. Here we have a quarter and then a quarter and an eighth, 2/8 notes, and then a quarter and an eighth rest. 2 more eighth notes, quarter, eighth note. Here we dotted eighth with a 16th, and then 6 16th notes. Quarter note, quarter, eighth note, 2/8 notes, quarter note, eighth rest, quarter note, quarter, and an eighth, 4 16ths, 4 16ths, and an eighth, 4 16ths, then 3 eighth notes, and then we have 4 16ths and a dotted quarter. So I'm going to keep using the same syllables that we've been doing for the rhythms, like tiki-tikis, or you can just keep doing tas, that's fine. But I'd like to try and do this with conducting by tapping either our knees like that, or maybe tapping something else like a desk, using the right and the left hands. ta ta ti 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 ta ti ti ta ti ti ki tiki 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 ta ta ti 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 ta 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 ti tiki tiki ta 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 ti tiki tiki ta ti 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 tiki 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 ta 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 ti 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 ta ti ti ta ti ti ki tiki 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 ta ta ti 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 ta 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 ti tiki 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 ti tiki tiki ti 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 tiki tiki ta. Second example is a bit slower, but it's still 5/8, so we have the same relationship between the beats of the measure. Half of the measure is going to be in simple meter, half of the measure is going to be in compound. So here we have a eighth and 2/16, and then we have quarter and an eighth tied. 2 eighth notes, and we have 8 32nds plus 1 eighth note. 2/16 and an eighth, and then in the second half of the measure we have eighth, 2/16, and then eighth note, 16th note triplet. Now in my recording, I have an oud part that actually has 2 16th note triplets at that particular moment, but I'd like you to try and perform the eighth note and 2 16th notes as written on the page. All right, next measure, we have 2 16th note triplets, and then that's followed by a quarter and an eighth note. Next measure, 16th, 2 32nds, and then 2 more 16th notes. Then the same thing happens, 16th, 2 32nds, 2 16ths, and then a little tag at the end, 2 32nds and a 16th. So this measure is going to be read as T tiki tiki T tiki 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 T. All right, next we have eighth note and then 16th note triplet, quarter and an eighth, 2 16th note triplets, 2 16th note triplets plus 4 32nd notes. So again, that third beat of the second half of the bar is like a little extra tag that gives it that limping feel. All right, there's your quarter note, and then 16th, 2 32nds, and 2 more 16ths plus an eighth note. All right, let's go ahead and perform. Ti tiki ta, ti ti tiki 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 ta, tiki ti tiki triola 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 ta. Ti tiki tiki ti tiki 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 ti ti triola ta. Ti triola 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 tiki tiki ta. Ti tiki tiki ti. As we get into the melody, last week we did a diminished seventh chord. This week there's going to be a half diminished seventh chord mixed in here. So again, we start with our tonic triad, do, mi, sol, goes to fa, re, do, la, and then here we have sol, ti, re, fa. That is a dominant seventh, resolves to mi, do, and then ti, re, fa, la is a half diminished seventh. Okay, so last week we had ti, re, fa, le, which is fully diminished. Ti, re, fa, la is half diminished because la to ti is a minor seventh. It's not a diminished seventh, but ti, re, and fa is a diminished triad. So that's what we call it, a half diminished seventh. It's a diminished triad plus a minor seventh. And then the ending sol, mi, do is the tonic triad, arpeggiated downwards. Let's practice this. Do, mi, sol, fa, re, do, la, sol, ti, re, fa, mi, do, ti, re, fa, la, sol, mi, do. So for our melodies, this one starts off using some pretty chromatic solfege, but these are embellishing tones. They are not part of applied chords at the beginning. So for here, I'm going to do re, mi, fi, sol, si, la. Okay. Then for this next part, it's the same thing, but transposed down a step. So I'm going to say di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol for all of these chromatic notes. Then we have this part where we have do, ti, ti, la, do, ti, ti, sol, do, la. Those are sixths. One is minor, one is major. And then here we actually have a brief tonicization of five. So ti, ti, la, ti, sol, do. So I'm going to sing that B natural as T going to do and C. But then I go right back. I have my chromatic solfege using embellishing tones, not leading tones. So re, mi, fi, sol, si, la. And then here I have di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol. All right, let's go ahead and sing this. Re, mi, fi, sol, sol, si, la, fa, re. Di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol, mi, do. Fa, mi, do, fa, re, ti, la, ti, sol, do. Re, mi, fi, sol, si, la, fa, re. Di, re, mi, fa, fi, sol, mi, do. Last exercise for performance is in G major. And we're going to sing going down do, ti, la, sol for the first two bars. And then we have a nice minor seventh leap up. Sol, fa, mi, sol. Do, ti, la, sol, sol, fa, la, ti, re, do. So this one is like a variation of the first two sections. And the ending, we have the same minor seventh, but instead of going sol, fa, mi, we do sol, fa, and then la, ti, and then jump to re and resolve it to do for the end. Go to the second line. Now you can see that I've got D sharps in there, and so that is actually outlining a dominant triad in E minor, which is the relative minor of the key. So here we have an actual modulation to E minor, and that repeats. And then as I go to the end here, you can see that there's like these two fermate and then a little grace notes thing. So here is where I'm going to start switching back to my G major solfege. So for example, here I would be singing do, re, me, and then me, re, me, sol, or you could think of mi, re, do, and we go back to da capo, and then we finish it off at the end of the first line. All right, let's sing this one. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, sol. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, la, ti, re, do. Ti, sol, do, re, ti, sol, do, re, me. Do, ti, do, mi.
do, ti, la, la, so, 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 fa, la, ti, re,